feel like you guys have raised the standard here just with what you did last year. That can carry over, right? I would assume.
I would say we raised the standard in the eyes of you guys and the fans, but our standard has never changed. Coming in here year one, I expected to win every game. And that's how I go into every single game, thinking, I'm not going to accept losing.
What gives you all the biggest confidence, you specifically the biggest confidence, that you guys can go back and repeat?
We have the experience now. Going into it last year, we knew we were good, but I think going into the playoffs, we knew we could win, but we weren't really sure what it took. We just kind of went out there and played really hard and together as a team, and it worked out. Now we know what it takes. We have that experience in our back pockets going forward.
That's a noticeably beefier and thicker Joe Burrow, still grown-up Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone. But you can see it. We saw it when he walked in to the facility. He's been in the lab putting the armor on, trying to withstand the physical toll of a 17-game season, entering year 3. And, Chris, I've talked to him multiple times, and he's always had that attitude. We are going to win. Our mindset is to win. And they are one of the teams, they say all the time, if you aren't getting better, you're getting worse. They're one of the teams that went out and tried to get better this year, especially by addressing the biggest flaws that manifested themselves in Super Bowl 56, and that was the offensive line that didn't buy him enough time, and then on that key moment, last play from scrimmage for the Bengals, when Jalen Ramsey fell down and Jamar Chase was wide open. Was it Chase? Wide open? It was Chase,
it was
right?
Chase, yeah.
Wide open down the sideline.
Yeah.
And Joe Burrow didn't have time to spot him because he had Aaron Donald right in his face.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, I think that's part of the reason he put that extra armor on that you're talking about. He realizes, one, yes, he gets hit a lot. Even with good pass protection, he's the kind of guy that plays a little bit of a physical brand of football because he's going to move in the pocket and slide and do those type of things. And like a Mahomes or Allen, wait to the last second, and then, oh, boom, there's somebody open, and he'll take a hit. He will. So I think it's smart on that. Smart on that aspect. The guy seems to evaluate himself, self-scout thyself, on the regular. That's the thing I like about Joe Burrow. Last year, we got done with the year. Man, I wish his arm was a little stronger and he'd be able to make a few more throws, and it changed the offense. And, again, some of these great quarterbacks, they make throws that we kind of just gloss over. And I go, there's only like 5 or 6 guys in the league that can do that. Change the game today. He's special that way, and he recognizes weaknesses and gets better at them. And I don't know, Mike. I mean, people look at the Bengals and everybody's like, it could be a letdown year and all that. I feel the total opposite. I do. First off, this is a special leader, a special human being to what you're talking about, like a Mahomes, Allen, and Herbert. The confidence just, exudes from them to the whole organization. And I think that was only a jump-off point last year. I really do. I think now they're going to figure out how to play and win and have the confidence, and they're going to be scary. They're never going to die in any game.
It is very rare, though, extremely rare, that a team that loses the Super Bowl comes back to win it the next year. The Patriots did it between 52 and 53.
Right.
Before that, I think it was the Dolphins 6 and 7, losing to the Cowboys in 6 and then capping the undefeated season in 7.
Right, and then winning in 8, too.
And then winning 2 in a row, right? But so it is rare, but that doesn't mean it can't happen because the Bengals are still going to be an elite team. The problem is there's a bunch of elite teams in the AFC, and we mentioned the offensive line. Here's Burrow on his belief as to whether or not the improvements to the offensive line will allow the offense to do more than it did last year.
Yeah, we'll see going into camp. It's early to tell. I'm going into it expecting that we can kind of open it up a little bit and maybe throw some things in that we weren't able to do last year and the year before. But we'll see. We have a really good core group of plays that we know really well and that we're good at, so we're not going to abandon that.
And he's got that mastery of the playbook. He's explained multiple times last year he would find a play, think of a play, change to a play, make something happen in a key moment. I mean, this guy has shown a wisdom and a skill and a maturity beyond his years. And he's look, we say it all the time. If you got a franchise quarterback, you're going to contend every year. As long as the Bengals have Joe Burrow, they're going to be in contention. And it's weird for people to get used to it. I know they went to 5 straight playoffs within the past decade, but they didn't win a playoff game, so they never were taken seriously. You've got Joe Burrow now in Cincinnati. I think they need to be taken seriously every year. The challenge is, what will they do year in and year out to put the team around him? And what will they do when the time comes for Joe Burrow to get his second contract? And what will he do? Will he be, dare I say, selfish and try to maximize his return, or will he deliberately leave cap space and cash behind?
Yeah, I think he's going to be Mahomes-ish. I do. I feel that. And again, I'm not going to judge him if he is, if he does go for every last penny. I'm not, but I do feel.
Wait, Mahomes isn't every last penny, though.
No,
it's
I know, no.
Ridiculous
I think
long-term deal.
that's where I think he'll go that way. Right. I think he'll go that way. I don't think he's going to go the way of ask for every last penny or do that. I don't feel that he's that way, and maybe I'm wrong, and I won't judge him if he does go for every last penny. That's all good, like you said. I understand that. I do, But I agree with what you're talking about. Like this is Mahomes changing around the Kansas City vibe. This is Dan Marino with the Dolphins back in the day, or Elway, just changing the vibe of a complete organization, and the loss just doesn't matter. Okay, I lost last year, great. He's not going to be affected by it and let it ruin his career. He's just going to push forward and go, damn, I'm going to win it next year. I'm going to win it next year. Now, again, I don't know if they can get back to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl, but I do think they're going to be one of the better teams in the sport. One, because the team is good, it's talented, there's young talent. I don't even think some of these guys have reached their peak potential yet, so they're still going on an upward trajectory. And then I think when you add that to belief, battle-tested, hey, we went into Tennessee and Kansas City, and we went to the Rams, who had a defensive line that we couldn't block, and damn, we were up the whole second half of the football game. So I think that's only going to just give them confidence and make them a really tough out when it comes playoff time.
I think the closest comparisons, when you consider the history before the player arrived.
Yeah, who is it?
I think it would be maybe a Joe Montana.
Yeah, okay.
Because the 49ers were nothing.
Right.
Especially Super Bowl era.
Right.
Nothing Super Bowl era.
Right.
And then Montana changes everything. And they were among the dregs of the NFL. And maybe the Bills.
Sure.
I mean, the Bills weren't horrible. We get Jim Kelly, and it changes everything.
Definitely, I hear you. Yeah, those are good ones.
So it's, the Broncos have been to a Super Bowl before Elway.
I know, you're right. The Miami was good in the 70s. I got you.
And even though the Bengals have been to a couple Super Bowls, that was like a lifetime ago. They had been so bad after their most recent Super Bowl appearance before last year, and then there's just that 30-plus years without winning a playoff game. They just were regarded as, it's kind of like what would happen if the Lions did it. It's kind of almost to the same extent. Lions or Browns, one of these teams where they've been doormat status sooner than later in the past, and this is a guy who comes in and changes everything, just everything. And I think it's hard for people to get used to it.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.